There we go. Okay. We're back. It's been like a month, and we have a special guest because Brandon didn't feel like joining us this week. So,
Idiot.
yes, Joe Munitz. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead and talk.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah, I'm a junior at Lynchburg. What the fuck was that? Yeah, I'm a junior at Lynchburg. Big sports fan. Boomer Sooner. Yeah, that's all I got for you.
Okay. Yeah. So he's here to talk about the Oklahoma game, some other random stuff. But to start it off, we've missed some big news in college football. There's really like two headlines, and one of them's like headline because it's actually football, and one of them headline because it's not football related at all. So we'll start.
Did we miss the Lane Kiffin news too?
Yeah, I was start with first Lane Kiffin. We missed the Lane Kiffin news. We had talked about him having a chance of going, but
Smitty practically called it. Is how I remember it going.
I mean, does it surprise us?
Did you call him going to LSU too?
Yeah, I said he was going to take the LSU job.
Not Florida.
No, I mean, Florida's lateral at this point in time. They still don't. I mean, LSU being the only state, or the only school really, that competes big football in that state, and having that recruiting profile and the state money that they have, there's really nobody that's going to match the resources that they can provide. And if he doesn't think that he can build his legacy to what he wants it to be at Ole Miss, and then LSU provides everything that he wants. And I mean, Lane Kiffin is also, I saw it kind of later after the fact, but Lane Kiffin is kind of just known for leaving places even when it's going well. So doesn't surprise me at all. Kind of the way he left though was kind of wild. He came out and was like, all the players want me to stay, and they want me to stay and coach through ever. I was trying to coach, and then he ended up pulling half the staff, or trying to pull half the staff. Pretty much said if you guys aren't on the plane with me, when I leave now, then you don't have a job, which was kind of shitty. And then all of his players coming out on Twitter and pretty much being none of us wanted you to stay. You left, get the hell out of here.
There was the video right after the meeting where I don't know if it was Chambliss or not, but someone was videoing him leaving, and they're like, "What's the coach name? Golden."
Yeah.
His first name is what? Pete. His first name is Pete. Yeah, they're like, "Oh, it's Pete," and he seemed excited. So.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good hire. Definitely right now, I think you have to keep some continuity, especially with still some games to play. But I think it's a good hire, especially just how late they were into the coaching market. Also, most of the big names had accepted jobs already. Franklin was gone. I had seen something earlier about Franklin maybe taking the Ole Miss job, but he was obviously gone. And then a lot of those mid-major schools had already lost their coaches, and they had the Florida job had already been taken. And so I think it was probably good just for continuity and try to kind of fill that void quickly and not let it kind of boil over. And then there's still questions about the roster and everything without Lane Kiffin, but it at least kept those from getting crazy awry with having to search for a head coach, and you kind of just throwing in immediately probably will help. But yeah, it just doesn't surprise me at all. Lane Kiffin, as soon as you start to like him, and I think he's a great coach, it's just he does another thing that's stupid, and then everybody hates him again. And he plays at Tennessee and at Ole Miss next year, which will be awesome. So that'll be fun. And Clemson gets to play in week 1, and we're going to lose by 1 million.
Probably.
So, yeah, there's that. Any of y'all's thoughts on it?
It doesn't surprise me.
That's what I was gonna say. It's just unsurprising. It felt like
I was hoping it would be obviously it was pretty big news, but I was hoping it was going to be something that no one expected. Ole Miss just pay him a stupid amount of money, or him go to, I don't know, Penn. Not that he would, but something crazy him going to Penn State, or DeBoer leaving, him going to Bama. I don't know, something crazy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I actually thought that would have maybe happened if DeBoer had lost to Auburn, and then they were really out of the playoff, and then I could have seen DeBoer going and taking the Penn State job, and then Lane going there. That would have just caused complete chaos, which would have been kind of fun. But next topic, and then we'll get into like kind of talking about obviously big week. College football playoff starts this week. Is Sharon Moore. I mean that's got to be. I mean, it's one of the wildest stories I've heard in college football, like drama wise.
It just got worse and worse and worse.
It just
Like, it
kept getting
going.
worse. Like it. I mean, it realistically is one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. Just with everything that happened with that.
It's getting worse every single like day. Every day there's something new that comes out. Like a couple hours ago, it came out that somebody, like the lawyer, said that there was a history of domestic violence, and that's just absurd for that to come out on like the third or fourth day since news broke.
Yeah.
Well, it was the first day. Obviously, he got fired, and it was kind of just like, all right, like didn't see that one coming, but didn't blow my mind. And then it came out that he got arrested, and I was like, okay, get fired because you get arrested. Then what he got arrested for, and then the next day it was like stalking, breaking and entering, and it was just like, what is going on? Then the OnlyFans stuff started coming out, and I was like, this dude's a freak too. It's like, this is getting crazy.
And like part of me started to like feel bad for the guy towards the end because like nobody really wants all that to become public. Like I understand he's a football coach, and like the stalking and the breaking and entering is all bad. Like I'm not saying any of that, but like then it came out that like
we do not condone his activities.
Yes, but then it like came
Well
out
said,
that, like
Tanner.
he was
put that on the record.
he came out that like he was suicidal because of all of this, and like that's what caused all of it, and that he literally like ran into this place and like put a knife to his throat, like ran into her house. Like that was like what prefaced all of this, and this all happened like they broke up on Monday. That this happened on Wednesday, and then he was arrested and fired on Friday. It's like it all happened so quickly, and it was just, I mean, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then the video of him in court at his arraignment, where he's sitting in like a
smallest room ever. That was where like I saw
that was terrible.
I saw that picture and I was like, I want to feel bad almost because like
I can't believe
No.
ESPN put that on their regularly scheduled program.
I was sitting at work and I look up to my right and Sharon Moore is just in like a 2x4 jail cell on the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah, that was wild that they like that became so public, and it's just like him talking, and you can clearly see that it's like a padded room, and he's like wearing all white, like pretty much it looks like he's almost wearing a straight jacket almost. And I was like, wow, this is
looked like he was going wine tasting.
But yeah, I was like, this is way worse than anybody thought when they just saw that he had gotten fired. Because, and then of course Dave Portnoy before anything came out, and then it was kind of funny to see his reaction after like all of the news came out, because I don't love Dave Portnoy, and he came out and he was like, "This is what happens if you like go 9-3 at Michigan, like you get arrested, like all this stuff." And then it came out like what all of it was, and Dave Portnoy was like, "Oh shit." Like I'm a dick. And I was like, yeah, that makes complete sense.
Another funny thing is completely unrelated, but the girl's Instagram and like LinkedIn profile picture, if you look closely, do you see who's in the background of it?
Mm-mm.
It's Connor Stallion.
Well, I saw something like she's married also too, right? Like she like just got married.
I don't know too much about her.
Like they've been in a relationship for like a couple years, and he's obviously married. And then I heard that she's also like she like recently got married, like in the last couple of months. And that's kind of like what ended up like leading to all like her breaking up with him and everything, is because like she ended up getting married and was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I don't know. That's just a wild story from start to finish.
The people that I feel bad for the most in this case are his wife and his kids.
Yeah.
The video of him walking out of his lawyer's office with his wife pushing the stroller, and his wife is holding the papers that they got from the lawyer, whatever may be in that folder, and looking and staring at him. I just feel terrible for that.
Yeah. She probably, I mean, how do you think, like, after all, like, I mean, obviously he's gonna have to pay all his legal fees and everything, but you think as soon as this all over, like she's like divorces him? She's like, yeah, I'm done.
Absolutely. I would say
I would
so.
hope so.
I mean, there's probably there's a lot more on like a personal level that we don't know, obviously, but I mean, I would assume so based off what we know.
But well, with that, we can get into some real football talk. Obviously, college football playoff starts this weekend. We got the 4 campus site hosted games.
I'm pumped. It's gonna be
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, really, I think we could all agree that there's really like 2 that feel like they mean anything. Like I feel like the other 2, like unless something crazy happens, I don't think Ole Miss loses to Tulane. Obviously, they played already this year, and Ole Miss beat them by 35. And then
I guess it'll mean something because that means another playoff change is occurring next year. Because after they both get blown out, that's just another playoff change.
well, that's
there's no like right answer to it because you can't. You have to let teams like Tulane. I think we're gonna go more into this later, but you have to let 2 teams like JMU and Tulane go in because of the record. But at the same time, like if you want to pick the top 12 teams in the country, they're not top 12 teams in the country.
yeah. I was watching Joel Klatt the other day, and really just saw like it on Instagram or something, and him pretty much saying, he was like, if you're wondering why that these teams are in the playoff, obviously this year is kind of just wacky because, and the ACC actually did come out today and say that they are changing their tiebreaker format for next year.
Yeah, they're playing 9 games, aren't they?
They're playing 9 games,
Yeah.
but it's proposed, and it looks like it's going to get passed, that the tiebreaker, one of the tiebreakers, is going to end up being college football playoff ranking, to see if 2 teams are tied, to see who gets into the conference title, which would have helped this year because then it would have ended up being Miami and Virginia, and then it's kind of a winner just gets in. And then you think about it, like even like I think we all would have thought Miami would have won that game, and Miami wins that game. Well, then that's the 4th conference champion. So then they still get in wherever they're at 10. So say they still get in at 10. Well, then Tulane can get in as the 12, and Notre Dame is still in it. And then you just have one of them because and the only reason that you have to have the one is just because it's going to prevent antitrust lawsuits. Like that's literally it, is because if you start we ran into this whole issue with the 4-team playoff. It was like there was the UCF team in Western Michigan, and then they finally put Cincinnati in and they get killed. And with it being 12, I think it should be that if one of the group of 5 team earns their right and is a top 12 team in the country, like Boise State would have been last year, like they would have been a top 12 team. They wouldn't have been top 4 where they ended up having a bye, but they would have been top 12. Like they would have gotten in. But it's literally just because if you start telling that these whole outside of 4 conferences, that every other conference is just pretty much playing for nothing, like they're playing to try to go to a bowl game and they just can't get into it. Like it's just I feel like you're gonna run into some lawsuits and stuff, because it is kind of turning into a monopoly between those 4 conferences and the rest of the sport, because there is so much money in the playoff. And that's the one thing, is that this money that it's bringing to Tulane and to JMU is literally program changing money. The money that they get for playing in the college football playoff, where it's really not for Georgia and Ohio State. They already have so much money. It doesn't do a ton, but yeah, I mean, they're going to get killed. Both those teams, I think, are going to get killed. And it's the first year that there's been 2 of them. But if the ACC does adopt that proposition and make it so that you prevent 7-5 Duke from being in the ACC championship, which, I mean, they won the game. I'll give them credit, but I don't think anybody thought UVA was very good either. And I think everybody thought that the best team in the ACC was Miami, and they just didn't happen to be playing in the game. So, it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing with that. I feel like I said a couple weeks ago that this will be the one year that and then eventually this will catch up with them, because nobody's going to want to watch these games. I mean, think of it, the last college football playoff game this weekend is the JMU Oregon game.
Yeah.
And after the first 2 games, I think should be pretty good games, with Texas A&M and Miami, and then obviously Friday night with Oklahoma, Alabama. And then the next 2 games are just going to be blowouts. And I bet you the viewership for those 2 games just goes downhill so fast. And then you're going to have a game on Saturday night that nobody's going to be watching because there'll be NFL on. And it just
Evan Stewart might be coming back, bro.
Well, I mean, I think Oregon State's going to kill him. I mean, or Oregon.
Oregon State's not playing. Oregon
Timmy,
State
get on
is
him.
not playing.
Timmy, get on him.
Oregon State is not playing.
You're right. That's on me. That's on me.
Not playing.
Smitty, I think you're absolutely right that if you don't throw these group of 5 teams a bone and give them a spot in this 12-team format, even, and probably going to get expanded to a 16-team format at some point in the next some odd years, then you're going to face potential lawsuits. But also, like, college football is a central aspect of campus life across the country. And if you've got teams that are competing in the FBS, like their football programs are the programs that they pump the most money into. And if you strip that opportunity away from them and say, even if you have the most miraculous season in the history of your program, just because you're a group of 5 team in the Sun Belt, we're not going to give you that spot because like any given Power 5 is going to tax the shit out of you. Those programs no longer have incentive to pump all that money into football. And then you run the risk of those programs dropping down to the FCS level like Idaho did. You run the risk of them losing enrollment. You run the risk of them losing state funding, private funding, donor funding. And if you think, I mean, like, if a school wants to chase championships, like, at some point they're going to stray away from football if they don't have the actual opportunity to chase a FBS football championship. So they're going to pump all that football money into a non-revenue sport. And then you're going to get, situations where the biggest moneymaker on campus is a team that puts 300 fans in the stands every week because nobody actually cares about watching that game.
I mean, and part of me also, to be honest, feels a little bad for JMU. Like, obviously, this is probably the best year that they won an FCS national championship, but this is probably the best year that they've had in the history of their football program. And it's just going to I feel like it's just going to end on a bad note. Like, it just puts them in a position where I just don't think anybody's expecting them to perform well. And maybe they come out and they cover. I mean, the number's like 21.5. But even if they do, I just feel like it puts like a little bit of a sour taste in the mouths of those fans and those players who have had a really good year for that program.
Boo-hoo.
Well,
Oregon got a bye and had to face Ohio State last year.
I would make the argument that you guys got
they're throwing us a bone this year.
I would make the argument that you guys got the best draw this year.
Yeah,
they're throwing us a bone.
Timmy,
they were going to put Notre Dame. They were going to put Notre Dame in. Like,
Timmy, I've got you all going to the national championship in my bracket that we did. That's going to get posted shortly on Instagram. What do you think of your odds of doing that, given the route that you could potentially have?
I think it's good. I mean, obviously JMU first, which I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to jinx it, but they're playing JMU, so I mean, Texas Tech, they're really good. I mean, I feel like I don't want to say anything because I feel like it might be like an Indiana situation, like I mentioned earlier in the year, where no one really knew how good Indiana was. Turns out Indiana's really good. So if they beat Texas Tech, it'll be the winner of Indiana and
the Oklahoma
Alabama. Yeah. So winner of that. I don't think Indiana can beat them twice if they're the team that's going to be there. If they do, wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they're really good, really well coached. Mendoza's really good, but I mean, good chance. Not the hardest. They don't have to go through Georgia and Ohio State, which thank God, because they're so good. Like,
I was thinking about this earlier. Am I crazy for saying that I still think that I would rather play Indiana than Ohio State and Georgia?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I felt the exact same way when they drew. Ohio State, I don't care if they lost to Michigan and Indiana. Like
that.
Jeremiah Smith scares me so much. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, both Ohio State and Georgia have championship pedigrees. Like, they played in the playoffs before and had success in the playoffs. IU played the playoffs and lost to Notre Dame last year.
Yeah.
That's not saying I'm not saying that Indiana's not a good team whatsoever. They're obviously a phenomenal football team. But we haven't seen them have success in the postseason yet, outside of this year's Big Ten championship game.
Yeah.
So I can't put all the chips in that basket yet without seeing them play a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
even when it comes to teams like Georgia, like, it's not the Georgia from 3, 4, 5 years ago, but it's still Georgia. It's still Kirby Smart's team. So
Yeah, but I mean, as of late, like that game against Bama and that game towards the end of the regular season against Texas, like they were dominant in those two games. Like,
yeah, I know. But like throughout the season, it's like when they won the national championships, they went what 14-1 and then 15-0. Maybe I switched the two
one.
when they went back to back. They won like 29 straight games, 28 straight games, right?
Yeah, I know
Something crazy.
Well, I know the year that they won, one of the years they won the national championship, they lost Alabama in the conference title.
That's right. When the year they beat TCU, they went undefeated, and they played what, 2 competitive games?
Yeah.
Like it's not that same pedigree of a Georgia team, but it's still Kirby Smart coached Georgia Bulldogs. So it's almost
Especially with
like
the way that defense played against Bama.
It's almost like the Chiefs of last, or no, not the Chiefs of last year. Was it 2 years ago where they kind of struggled at first, and then it's like, okay, it's still the Chiefs. Made the Super Bowl and won it.
Yeah.
I think that was 2 years ago. Could be wrong, but
we can.
I want to just say, like somebody said, it was a Kirby Smart led team, so that's like why they're going to be successful in the postseason. I absolutely agree. Kirby Smart's got like postseason written all over him. I also think there's a massive difference between a Carson Beck led team last year and a Gunnar Stockton led offense this year, for the pure fact that I think Gunnar Stockton is just a country hick, will put his head down and run through a dude and not give a fuck.
Well, he drives like a 1980 F-150.
Yeah, that's the sickest shit ever.
Yeah,
I would love to be an offensive lineman for that kid.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I mean, Georgia's gonna have to go with 2 freshmen, Dontrell Glover and Bo Walker, because I don't know who they are. I hope they're not game changers because they got arrested for shoplifting.
I was about to say something. They got arrested last week.
I hope they're not in the game plan, because you look up their names and the first thing I see is they're in jail. And those are handcuffs. So I mean, not looking too good for them, but I've never heard their names before, so I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal.
Okay, Joe, what do you got to say, man? You've been really quiet over there.
I mean, I agree. I think it's going to be tougher to go through Ohio State and Georgia, but everything that Kurt Signetti has showed me says not to bet against him, because like everyone bet against him in the Big Ten, everyone bet against him against Oregon, and all he's done is just win.
Have you Googled him?
I did Google him.
I've Googled him, and he's right. He's right. I Googled him.
Timmy, what did it say when you Googled?
That's all it said. It wasn't even a Google page. It said, I win. They only won by 10.
Yeah, that game wasn't close.
It was a bad game. It was like raining the next week, so it messed up the game plan. It was a trap game. I think we played Minnesota the next week. It was a trap game.
I mean, somehow I still think you both didn't, like, none of y'all talked about how good Indiana was compared to, like, I mean, they're the number 1 team in the nation for a reason. So, like, well, I do think it's more difficult to go through Georgia and Ohio State. I think both of them are just as difficult, and I think Oregon loses again to Indiana. So,
wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Well, let's transition and talk about a game that you have a lot of stake in, Joe, in this Bama-Oklahoma game. Are you aware that Bama hasn't lost 2 games to back-to-back games
to the same team?
I'm aware of your stuttering.
Since 1890.
I'm also aware that Kalen DeBoer's 0-2 versus Oklahoma at Bama as well. So he's about to be 0-3. So, but I'm not happy that we're facing Bama. I'm going to be honest. I think the committee fucked us over. Because how does Bama get fucked SEC championship team and not drop, and BYU gets basically the same thing happen to them, and they do drop. So I'm not happy about that. But I mean, the way Bama's offense has been playing, I do like our chances with our defense, because our defense is just that good. So I'm still rolling with Oklahoma, but I'm definitely not happy to play Bama again, especially because it's tough to beat a team twice.
Yeah, that's true. And I think the biggest thing, and while it is tough to beat a team twice, Alabama's biggest struggle this year is they have not been able to run the ball at all. Like they've had no run game. They ran for -6 yards against.
I had more rushing yards sitting on my couch.
They drove all the way to Atlanta just to run backwards.
Yeah. And like obviously it's not going to get any better against Oklahoma's defense, and that front on that Oklahoma has is the best part of their defense. So unless Ty Simpson throws for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns, like obviously they aren't going to have to score a ton of points because I don't think Oklahoma's offense is crazy good.
Nope. We
But,
can't run the football either.
I mean,
Or throw the football,
Oklahoma
really.
might only have to score 17 or 20 points to win this game.
I think an under is a great play for this game.
I don't even know what the over-under is, but yeah, the under
matter.
probably works.
You're a sick man if you're waiting all year for the college football playoff just to bet the under on the first game. You're a sick man, dude. It's Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night game, and I'm thinking
Friday night, Oklahoma. I hope they don't score tonight.
39 and a half.
Iowa's not. Oh, jeez. Not playing. I mean,
yeah, take those words back, Timmy.
Yeah, 39 and a half. There's a reason it's 39 and a half. Ty Simpson.
I mean,
sucks.
neither of the offenses is very good. Both the defenses or neither of the offenses are very good. Oklahoma's defense is good.
I did see a video either today or yesterday. I think it's a practice recently where John Mateer is going through a drill, and he fell over. So I was just like, not looking too good.
In case you guys were wondering,
he also has the under.
The line opened at 41 and a half and is down at 39 and a half, which means everybody has been hammering the under.
Yeah.
It's down 2 points. And the other thing is that Bama was 1.5 favorites, and now it's Oklahoma is 1.5 favorites, which means also everybody was hammering Oklahoma. So
you're not going to get me taking the under. So.
Yeah, I'm just saying the majority of the bets are on the under and on Oklahoma.
Yeah. Out of respect to the game of football.
I will say the good thing with Oklahoma, at least I think the past couple of weeks we've had big play touchdowns, which we haven't had. So if we can get like one big play, I think that's enough, which is crazy.
Yeah,
but like one big play is enough to win this game.
I think being at home in a game like this also helps. Maybe just help. Obviously, Venables had coached at Clemson in a playoff, but Oklahoma really hasn't been there in a while. What was it? 19 was the last time that they were there. Obviously, none of these players have been there. They kind of went through a rough stretch with Lincoln Riley, everything happening with that. And then, so I think Venables will understand, have the defense ready. It's just a matter of is Mateer going to be ready? And I think being at home and kind of having that to kind of ease them into the game a little bit, and hopefully that defense is on fire to start the game and kind of maybe buys the offense a little bit of time to kind of get going. And then, like you said, I mean, that's literally why they beat LSU. They hit one big play. It really two. It was the screen.
The screen pass and the screen pass and the one where the blown coverage.
Yeah, and I mean that was why they won the game. And that's all. I think that's really all Oklahoma needs with how good that defense is. So, that'll be a fun game. I'm glad that's the first Friday night game. I think it'll be a good introduction. I'm more excited for these games this year than I was for obviously Clemson was last year, but than I was for the games last year, because it just felt like there was no good matchups last year.
No, the first round sucked, I feel like. But good news for Oklahoma. Students do not have class on Friday.
I saw that.
December 19th.
I saw that. Who has classes on December?
Who has class on
20th?
December 19th? Oklahoma doesn't, because it's canceled.
Well, obviously not, but I don't know who has class anyway.
They will have class on Monday, maybe the 22nd.
That's crazy.
That pisses me off that even came out. We're gonna cancel it for you guys because the college football playoff. Who has class December 19th? Other than
nerds,
yeshiva.
Maybe it's just winter classes. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe, I don't know, but yeshiva that you got.
Well, we can move on. Next big matchup that I think it's the next game if we're going in order. That Texas A&M Miami game. Very excited for that game. I don't know why, because I haven't trusted Miami all year. I've kind of been against Miami all year. I don't like Carson Beck, but for some reason, this just feels like a spot where they could end up sneaking in and winning this game. I haven't decided who I'm picking in that game yet, so I'm not. But for whatever reason, I have more trust in Miami just with the way that they handled everything at the end of the year and really just beating the crap out of everybody that they played. Because I think if they had struggled at all in their last 4 games of the year, the committee was going to find a way to leave them out. But then you get that game at the end of the year playing Pitt, who is ranked, and I'm not saying they're a great team, but you just go in there and you just trounce them. You leave no doubt. I think Tony, the receiver, is one of the best receivers in the country. I mean, that guy's electric every time he touches the football. And that defensive line is ridiculous. And if that speed on that defensive line can contain Marcel Reed, I think they got a chance to win this game. And I think Texas A&M, as good as they looked all year, looked very vulnerable against Texas. And obviously Texas is a good team, but I just think I think it's probably the most interesting matchup because I think there could be a ton of points because I think both these offenses have pieces to score points. But both defenses are also really good. I think this will just be a good football team. Like 2 good football teams playing against each other. And I think both these teams are, I don't know. I haven't decided who I'm picking. I couldn't really tell you. I'm still leaning Texas A&M a little bit, but it's gotten closer and closer as the week has gone on and how everything's gone. Because Reuben Bain on that defensive line is going to be an animal chasing Marcel Reed around. So,
Yeah,
but
I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Is the chips are stacking a lot more in Miami's favor than I would like to admit. And people have been saying all year that Miami's roster is just loaded with NFL type talent. But obviously they stumbled in the middle of the year. And that made some people question. Obviously, there's questions about whether Carson Beck can actually lead a team to playoff victories and have a sustained run over the 3-4 games that's necessary to win the games that they're trying to win. But I've been riding with Marcel Reed and Texas A&M all year. So I'm just going to stick with Texas A&M and not underestimate the power of the 12th man. And then the breaking news today that I thought is worth mentioning is that A&M's running back, Le'Veon Moss, got upgraded to questionable this week. He missed the last 6 games of the year. He's a career average 5.5 yards a carry. He's got 22 career touchdowns. So adding him back into the lineup potentially on Saturday would be absolutely massive. For opening up some of that space for Marcel Reed to work with. But I wouldn't bet on it. A&M is going to have to be stout defensively to have a chance in this game because I think their offense is going to be very one-dimensional and very reliant on Marcel Reed, kind of like they were against Texas.
yeah. Any thoughts?
I mean, it's obviously helpful that's an A&M. I don't know if Miami's played in that environment yet. I'm trying to think of the big game they had. If they had any big games.
They were all at home.
They were home versus Notre Dame, right? And no one shows up to Hard Rock. So
They were home versus Notre Dame. They were home versus even Florida early on. Even UCF, they were home. I think maybe even the Florida State game might have been on the road, but obviously Florida State ended up being nothing.
Yeah, I know Carson Beck has played in big games, obviously being at Georgia, but I don't think like the rest of the Miami team is ready to play in College Station yet. So
Mario
Cristobal
is going to get to a point where he got the clock, and he's going to throw like a deep ball.
He's going to run the football, and they're going to fumble.
Texas A&M is going to win off some stupid clock management, but I think A&M's going to win. Kind of along what Joe said, like Carson Beck might be built for it. Miami, I don't really know. So, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Miami wins and Texas just broke A&M. So,
Also, really good.
I really would not be surprised if either happens. This will be a fun game. This and the Oklahoma game, like, could go either way, and I would not be surprised. So
yeah, I feel like these 2 games carry the
unless
weekend.
unless they're absolute blowouts. Then
Yeah.
I would be surprised, but
Yeah, I think these 2 games definitely like carry the weekend almost because I think it's like the first 2 games, it's going to get everybody really excited. And then now we can segue on to what is the third game in that Ole Miss Tulane game, which is just, I mean, they've already played this year and like Tulane lost by 35. and Trinidad wasn't even playing quarterback, I don't think.
Mm-mm.
So, like,
What's the spread on this game?
17 and a half, I think.
Yeah,
15. I thought I saw, but maybe it's 17.
That's it.
yeah, 17 and a half.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if this one is just an absolute snooze fest. And this is game 3, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's at
Yeah.
what, 3:30,
This is
4:30.
3:30 game.
This is going to be like you watch the first game. You
This
can,
is
you
when
know,
Ben's going to be watching the Montana
go get.
State game.
Yeah, there's
No, we
NFL on. There's
play-
NFL on.
UNC basketball plays Ohio State at 3:00. I will absolutely be watching that on the big screen and have this game on the side screen.
This is a quad box game. Unfortunately, there's just not enough quad box games being played. This is going to be. I might have Netflix on. No, that's for Christmas. What's NFL being aired on this Saturday?
Oof.
Just TV. I'll be watching that
Might be,
if I'm
yeah.
even watching anything.
Yeah,
Family's coming,
it's on
so I'll
Fox.
be busy.
Those games don't start till 5.
I might be watching Bryce Young film, but
Yeah. Would you rather watch this game or watch the Eagles Commanders game?
I'd rather kill myself. Oh, take that out. Ask the question again.
Would you rather
take it
watch
out.
that game or the Eagles Commanders game?
Probably.
I think I'd rather watch hockey.
Probably neither. Yeah, this is a game where like I might sit down and watch a drive or two, and then it's just like so stupid. I don't care. Like whatever.
Hold on. I might have some
Because I'm locking in for the late game.
Yeah.
So, but I
Yeah,
might go
and
throw the
then-
football on the street with my brothers. Have some
Yeah.
fun. Go the dog. Yeah, throw the tennis ball with the dog. Teach my niece some bad words. She's starting
Yeah,
to
I mean,
speak, so I
this-
might teach her some bad words.
Does Ole Miss leaving have any effect on Ole Miss in this game?
Ole Miss leaving.
No.
If Ole Miss left,
Or does
then, yeah,
does
there
Ole
you
Miss
go.
or
Lane Kiffin leaving does not affect this game at all.
I don't think so.
does it? You think it affects them in the next game? Which I don't like. They're going to play Georgia, so I don't think it really matters. But
Maybe a little bit. I mean,
Uh,
they were winning at Georgia with Lane Kiffin, and it was one of those games where I was just like, whoa. And then obviously Georgia came back at the end, but I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia blew them out. But I also saw something this week where someone asked Trinidad Chambliss in his presser about like what his future is looking like, and he gave like minus 50% team chemistry because he was just like he was super open about it, and he was like, yeah, I don't really know what my plans are. Kind of made it seem as if he was really looking elsewhere. And this is, 3-4 days before their first college football playoff game.
yeah, and I saw some
So,
like weird.
I
report
saw
saying-
that, and that was I was like, you're the starting quarterback about to play in the college football playoff, and you're like not shutting down this question. You're kind of like being open to transferring, which I just thought was a little strange, but
yeah. So Timmy, we can move on. Last game of this weekend.
go.
We talked about it earlier. The Oregon JMU game.
I'm excited. It'll be
I'm
sweet
excited.
being a home game at Oregon. Night game. I'm gonna see it's 7:30, so it's gonna be 4:30 there, but it'll get dark. It'll be sweet. Obviously, if like I wasn't an Oregon fan or a JMU fan, I really probably wouldn't care. But I mean, this will be cool. There's a chance. I know Gary Bryant, Evan Stewart, and Decory Moore all questionable. Where if they all play, that will be electric. That'll be so cool. Evan Stewart tore something over the summer, and like they said, he was out for the year, but he's practicing. He was full pads yesterday, so that'll be sweet if he plays. He hasn't played all year. Decory Moore, awesome. Gary Bryant, awesome. So that'll be really cool.
if
Another
they're not
thing,
fully healthy, though, are they even going to play? They're going to blow them out anyways.
I don't think it really matters because like Jeremiah McClellan, Kenyon Sadiq, they're all really good. Jeremiah McClellan caught that ball at Washington. I'm just putting that on the record. That one-handed catch, that was the greatest catch ever. He caught that. But I think one of the bigger stories, not bigger, but like kind of big stories, is JMU Sports News on Twitter. I don't know if you guys are aware of them. They're awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
it's been pretty.
there's no like Twitter beef between the two because it's what is it like Nitro Bomb versus Coughing Baby? That's what people are comparing this game to. And these guys are awesome. There's a highlight tape Oregon does every week. It's called Ducks versus Them, and there's a highlight tape of them versus USC, and it's in slow motion. These guys are like, wow, like Oregon's really slow. Like they're running so slow. Look at these guys. We could definitely beat them. And then they'll speed up JMU highlights. But like, look at how fast we are. We're gonna smoke them. So it's like super like friendly trash talk, and the fan bases have like become friends with each other, and it's kind of just cool to see because you don't really see that very much anymore.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen
I'm
it.
on their page. They've blown up. I'm trying to find some of the funny videos, but
Yeah, I've seen some tweets like from that are like start off as if you would like assume that you're talking about Oregon, and then it's like, yeah, it would be really interesting to see like Oregon compete in the Sun Belt.
yeah,
Like,
it's a lot. Yeah, a lot of them at times hosting College Game Day in 2025, as reported by JMU Sports News. JMU 1, Oregon 0. Goes to show how large the Duke's brand is compared to the naturally compared to the even Big Ten teams like the Ducks. Let me see if there's anything else.
there was one that was
There's
like
a lot of really funny stuff.
there was one like the talent and speed shown from Oregon like could be like a real issue. Like it'll be a real test to see if
Yeah, and
JMU is able to.
it's like two brothers who I think went there. It's like playoff appearances in 2025, 26. JMU 1, Kansas City Chiefs 0. Wow. Anything else? They're showing like the one highlight from the Liberty Oregon game the other year. It's like if Liberty can do it, we can do it 30 times or something like that. They scored 6 points that game. Let me see. I mean, just give you guys should give their profile a look. It's hilarious. Oh, this is one that I really like. JMU football this season, asterisk at the bottom, the asterisk goes, including results from satellite campus JMU Bloomington. Record 25-1, double-digit wins 20, all Big Ten players 19, all Sun Belt players 19, wins over college football playoff teams 2, conference titles 2, double-digit wins Oregon 1. It's referring to Indiana. It's not JMU Bloomington, so it's just kind of funny. It's super stupid, but
That was hilarious to me.
Joe, shut up.
Yeah, part of me was like worried once JMU got in the playoff because like obviously being in Virginia, like how crazy like those fans have been like asking for to be in the playoff and everything. Part of me was thinking that they were like some people on Twitter were just going to be like crazy delusional and be like, oh, like we're one of the best teams in the country. But actually, like even like people that I've talked to, like they're just not delusional at all. They're just like openly talking about. They're like, we're gonna get absolutely boat raced, and they were like, but I'm gonna go sit and watch it in a bar and get drunk.
Yeah, I mean, it'll
Like-
be cool. Yeah, and I know like PFT said it would be his Super Bowl if they just covered the spread.
Yeah.
So,
well, those are those 4 games. We want to make some. I don't really know mine off the top of my head, to be honest. I'd have to think for a second. Obviously, Ben said his earlier has already sent me his. But Joe, as special guest, what's your you want to build out like a little bit of a bracket for us? Tell us who's going to be playing in the end, who's going to win the whole thing.
Sure. Let's see. Oklahoma's winning. I'll take Texas A&M, and then Ole Miss and Oregon. Those are blowouts. And then I'll take Oregon over Texas Tech. Was it Ole Miss, Georgia again? Georgia again. And then sadly, Indiana beats Oklahoma, and Ohio State wins. So it'll be Ohio State, Georgia. It'll be 1 through 4 or 1 through 5. So the final 4 would be Oregon, Indiana, Ohio State, and Georgia. And then I think it's going to be a rematch again of the Big Ten championship. So I'll take Indiana, Ohio State, and I think Ohio State wins it.
They get their get back.
Yeah.
that's a safe bet, but that's not very fun.
Well, Timmy,
Sorry,
do you have
Timmy.
any insight into yours?
Timmy, I think Texas
Yeah.
Tech would win against Oregon.
I don't.
I think Jacob Rodriguez's 6th dash wins it. He gets like 20 solo
and he has a
tackles,
cool mustache, but
and he should have been in the Heisman conversation.
all right, dude, shut up.
He should have been in the Final Four.
He was the 5th.
No, he should have been in the Final Four.
He got more first place votes than Julian Sand.
I know, that's why he should have been in the Final Four.
And as a defensive player, we actually know that his significant other is real, unlike Manti Te'o.
It's true. I
That
think
has
for the
to-
opening round, I took every home team.
Yes, you
Yeah,
did.
you
You
I
did.
wouldn't be. I mean, the Alabama Oklahoma game and then Miami Texas A&M could be toss ups, but I did say every home game, every home team. Indiana beats Oklahoma. Oregon beats Texas Tech. Georgia beats Ole Miss. Ohio State beats A&M. I'm going to take Oregon over Indiana to go to the national championship. Am I? Wait, did I? Yeah. Georgia, Ohio State. I'm going to go Georgia. Call me crazy. I'm going to go Georgia. Ryan Day
crazy.
cannot. Shut up. You're small. You're like 5'6". Ryan Day
Same height as Bryce
cannot
Young.
win. No. And then I'm just going to go Oregon winning the national championship because it's stupid and they just bark at people. So Dante Moore is going to bring it home.
Ben has, I know Ben, because he sent it to me, has the exact same bracket, except he has Georgia winning the whole thing.
Yeah, I have Georgia over Oregon in the Natty, and I
Fair enough.
have Alabama over Oklahoma in the opening round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wrong answer.
Sorry, Joe.
I
Pardon
got
me,
I mean, you're just
twice.
wrong, but that's fine.
the what I know about is that I got
John Mateer accidentally showed up to class on the 19th, so he missed the game. That's what happened. He thought he had class, so.
I have Oklahoma winning that game. I'm gonna go Miami winning the other game as of right now. All those picks will come out on Friday. I'm gonna go with Miami winning that game. Obviously the two home teams in those games, Ole Miss and Oregon. I got Indiana beating Oklahoma. I got Ohio State winning, Georgia winning. I think this will be maybe the best game of the whole playoff. If is the Oregon Texas Tech game. I just think those teams just match up like kind of really in a really fun way in that game. And I'm leaning Oregon, so then we would kind of all have the same Final Four. I got Oregon beating Indiana to go to the national championship.
Yeah.
And I have Ohio State beating Georgia to go to the national championship.
Oh.
And Ohio State goes back to back.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. If Ohio State and Oregon play in the national championship, I will probably just cry. Because I know it's going to happen, and it's going to
You're not
happen.
going to go, Timmy?
No, where is it this year?
Miami.
Red Rock.
No, I'm not going to that. It's not like I'm definitely not going to it. It's not like oh, maybe I have enough money. I'm not going to that. Yeah, that'll be the third time ever playing them in the college football playoff, and they just kill us again.
Yeah, last time it worked really well for you.
Shut up, Joe.
But yeah, so there we go. We got two Ohio States, and me and Joe say Ohio State, kind of different way of getting there. And then Oregon and Georgia. Those seem like to me the three of the four that are getting picked a lot. I haven't really seen anybody thinking that Texas A&M Texas A&M or Texas Tech are going to make that and make any runs. I guess Texas Tech is probably the most surprising, being the 4. But make the argument they didn't really get tested very much all year. I don't think anybody thinks BYU is the same caliber team as any of those teams in the top 6.
Yeah, we said it at the start of the year that whoever's coming out of the Big 12 isn't going to really get a lot of respect because the Big 12 is a for fun league.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that could be a really good game though. But yeah, I was kind of looking at it. I think that Oregon is talented enough to win the whole thing. But I think Ohio State, I kind of said this last year or said this at the beginning of the year and like kind of midway through, is that like feels like last year, like especially with these guys, Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs and Carnell Tate, all these guys that have been there and were able to experience what it took to do it last year. Feels like this team's just so ready. And then I always am in a season and in a playoff now where, I mean, obviously we had like during the 4 team, it was those teams that went undefeated, but with there being so many more games, and there being a potential where you could have to win 15 or 16 games. I mean, really, Indiana's undefeated. They could go 16-0, and nobody's ever done that before. And it just makes it hard to believe that you just don't slip up once. And maybe that game was that Penn State game for them, and they were able to figure it out. But I almost trust Ohio State more, having seen what that felt like probably the worst game that Ohio State played all year was that Indiana.
If Ohio State just goes on a run and kills everyone in the college football play, wouldn't blow my mind. They're so good, and their defense is like unreal.
And it was so common for so long that when a team did end up losing a game like that, it almost like propelled them to lock back in.
Yeah,
I mean, that was like I remember
like they did last year.
Like they did last year versus Michigan. I mean,
like they did last year, and like I remember, and some of the other one-loss champions that we've had, like Alabama did it. Like Alabama was 14-1 the year, like in 2015 when they beat Clemson, they were 14-1. Clemson did the same the year after. They kind of were like the whole year, like we're just kind of coasting by, and then you lose a game, you lose a game, you kind of lock back in. Alabama was the same way in 2017. Like it had been like that really until we got on the run where it was like 18, 19, 20, where teams were just all went 15-0, and then you had obviously Georgia did again in 21 when they won that national title. When they ended up losing in the SEC championship, and it kind of like I just think that there's a year where you have to win so many games. I think losing a game might actually help you in the long run, especially when it doesn't hurt you at all. Like that, what does that game do for Ohio State? And to be honest, if I'm Ohio State, would I rather play Texas A&M or Bama or Oklahoma? Like I feel like all three of those teams are. They're kind of like, well, whatever. Like I don't think any one of those teams is necessarily that much better than the other. And I think avoiding the defense that Oklahoma presents is probably a benefit, because that defense from Oklahoma is probably the best unit in the country, other than maybe Ohio State's. So
Ohio State's defense is not real.
So it'll be interesting. I think that loss will help kind of propel them, as much as I hate to say it, because I hate Ohio State. But them going back-to-back is just going to be so miserable on Twitter.
Yeah, Barstool Tate.
I hate that guy. But anything else? Anything else we want to get into? Ben, you got any
fun news? Any like fun news that you can think of? Other than that guy just getting picked up as a free agent, who was it, Illinois?
Illinois picked up a free agent in basketball from Croatia. Texas just picked up some dude, a fifth year from College of Charleston in baseball.
Darian
17th.
Pendergrass.
Yeah, that's how that works now. I joked around with Brandon last night that if Duke were to end up, because Duke was in a tight game with Lipscomb last night, and Lipscomb is full of Lithuanians and Latvians and Croatians and Belarusians and all those Eastern European dudes. I was joking around, like John Shire's halftime speech was, if you guys don't figure it the fuck out, I'm just going to go sign 5 dudes from Eastern Europe and call it a day. Like, y'all can't, like, the Boozer twins can just sit the fuck out for the rest of the year, because obviously these Eastern European guys are just so much better than the rest of us.
they're just, to be honest, they're all over the place. Like
it's so fun to watch. The kid from Virginia Tech, the Avdalis kid, the Greek kid, is so much fun to watch. But it is so fun to watch, and at the same time, it is infuriating, because those dudes play an entirely different brand of basketball than what we are used to.
Until your favorite NBA team picks them up, like Vasa Micic, and then you just want to rip your eyes out every time you dribble the ball. Trust me, it's not as fun as you think.
Well, UNC's got a point, or a small forward shooting guard named Luka Bogovac, and that dude, you can tell as soon as he crosses half court whether or not he wants to put the ball on the deck and try and go get a bucket, or he wants nothing to do with the basketball. It's never like run an actual offensive scheme. It's just whatever he feels like doing, which is like fine, because the dude is good as fuck at basketball. But at the same time, it's like there's not a whole lot of cohesiveness unless you've got 5 of those dudes on the court at the same time, like Illinois. And then they just look like they've been playing together since they were 3.
like Estonian or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Cool.
awful when we saw him though against Kansas in the first game. He was terrible when we saw him.
Bogovac?
Yeah, wasn't he terrible?
Yeah, he's been turning around. He's been having a couple of really nice games, been finding his shot. So
Yeah, maybe it was
I mean,
first game jitters he had versus Kansas.
Illinois building their whole team, starting to build their whole team that way because they obviously already got Stojakovic.
oh, that is their whole team. They have like 8 dudes from outside the United States or that were born inside the United States to outside the United States parents from like Eastern European countries. UT Martin's starting 5 is the exact same way. Their coach literally went to Eastern Europe and traveled around and found 5 dudes to come play basketball for him. The Nebraska center, that's really good. Just a really good facilitator. Also is like an absurd 55% from 3. Is an Eastern European guy. The Momchilovic kid from Iowa State, that's also above 50% from 3, is an Eastern European guy. Like those guys are a dime a dozen in college sports right now, which I think is really, really fun because a lot of those guys aren't coming to the U.S. with that like pretentious NIL thought, like let me come get my money. Like a lot of them are trying to make it to the pros, so they're way more worried about the product on the court. But it is definitely a different scene. I will say that this we've mentioned it before, but this college basketball season is quite literally one of, if not the best college basketball seasons that we've had.
Top to bottom, I mean, everybody's just
It
loaded.
is insane. The draft class this year is going to be nuts because there's legit like 20 freshmen in the country that should be draft picks. Some of the upperclassmen that we've mentioned are insane. And then top to bottom in some of these conferences, there's stupid amounts of depth that there haven't been in recent years. Like the SEC is always going to be deep. The Big Ten is really deep this year too. The Big 12 falls off after about, like I would say, like the cutoffs like Baylor, and then it falls off pretty hard. But the ACC is going to have more teams in it than people thought in the dance than people thought. The Big Ten is super deep compared to where they have been in recent years. So
Clemson's done.
Really, really fun to watch.
Clemson blew a 20-point lead to BYU, and their most talented player just tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Oh, that hell of a buzzer beater, by the way. Anyone see that? I know somebody loved it.
Robert Wright III, baby.
Stupid
Hell of a
Baylor
buzzer
fans.
beater.
Yeah, that was a tough end of that game, Smitty. But y'all, just so you know, despite all that, you're still receiving votes in the AP poll, so you can hold on to that for the rest of the year.
Sick.
But
But I mean, our most talented freshman, who he's not the best player on our team yet, and he's not anywhere near like a freshman that like any of the big programs have. But he was a top 100 recruit. Really the highest level recruit that Clemson's going to get for basketball out of high school. Really talented guy. He's like 6'6", point guard, like probably the most talented player on our team, and he tore his ACL yesterday against South Carolina. So
that's definitely less than ideal. I will say there's been, as much as there's been good in college basketball this year, there have been some like pretty extreme disappointments. To the 2 off the top of my head are NC State. We thought was going to be a lot better based on Will Wade's pedigree.
And just bringing in what's that guy's name? The guy that was the preseason ACC Player of the Year, Williams.
Yeah,
like everybody was talking about how good he was going to be. Like he came in from Texas Tech and was really good, preseason ACC Player of the Year, and he's been decent. And I don't think NC State's bad. Like they've played some good teams, but he hasn't looked as good as he does not look like preseason ACC Player of the Year. Right now, that looks like it's going to be off what I've watched, it looks like it's going to be a coin toss between the freshman at Louisville, Caleb Wilson, and Boozer. Like it literally looks like it's just going to be one of those 3 freshmen.
Yeah, he's averaging Darian Williams is averaging cool, it doesn't want to tell me points. He's averaging 16. So like he's not having a shitty year, but obviously ACC Player of the Year material is going to average more than 16 points a game, especially given the schedule that they've played. And I mean their Seton Hall loss is ridiculous given that Seton Hall was picked to finish last in the Big East. And that brings me to my second point, is that the Big East, like I said, is a massive disappointment this year.
Yeah.
Way too much roster turnover top to bottom. You've got your UConn, you've got your St. John's right now. They're not going to be terrible by the end of the year because they're going to wax the rest of the Big East. But it's UConn, St. John's, and then like you're going to have 3, maybe 4 Big East teams in the tournament this year, which is absurd given the recent history of the Big East and how good they've been at the top end of that conference. And you look around this year, and Marquette, who's been a perennial tournament team for the past decade, 2 decades, Creighton, who's been in the tournament, and I think there's a streak of them winning a game in each tournament the past couple of years, is very unlikely to not be a bubble team, if not miss the tournament. Like they're not any good. Seton Hall is having a great year compared to what people thought they were going to be.
You have.
And then I think the only saving grace is, for the rest of the Big East is that Georgetown is finally looking like Georgetown again. And they're starting to get back to a point where that program is going up instead of flatlining or going down.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice to see, given all that Ed Cooley put into that program.
Yeah.
But
it'll be
everything
it'll be
else
fun because we're what obviously the last of the tournaments and stuff kind of finishes up around Christmas. And then heading into that week after Christmas, leading up to New Year's, conference play starts, which will be fun. It's always competitive. There's always just weird games with good teams going on the road like midweek, and can't wait to watch like Houston go to Oklahoma State midweek and just have that place just be electric.
Yeah, we're gonna start getting Super Tuesdays again, which is gonna be really, really fun. And getting those ranked matchups on a random Tuesday night. You can sit down after work, after class, and just rot away, watching some good college basketball. I think the only other college basketball thing I want to talk about, or not even talk about, just mention, is we've got 7 teams remaining undefeated. 6 of them are legit teams, and then the 7th is Miami of Ohio, who is 11-0. And starts conference play this weekend. And if they can make a run in the MAC when they are not even currently the favorite to win the MAC despite their 11-0 record, I think that'd be really fun to watch. See if maybe the MAC can get can be a 2-bid conference, potentially, given the fact that Akron is really highly favored in that conference. And then we wouldn't be a college sports podcast if we didn't mention the recent happenings in national championships, and that would be University of Washington
Huskies
winning the College Cup. Yep, attaboy Timmy, throw that W down.
Don't care.
And then the other thing is the previously undefeated Nebraska Cornhuskers volleyball team lost in a stunner to Texas A&M, to a girl that had 25 kills, that had 4 concussions playing volleyball before.
So her KD is like 6 point whatever 25, whatever it
It's
is.
like 6.25 if you consider all her concussions as a death.
Yeah.
I read the story on that, and I was astonished because this chick was a high-powered volleyball recruit. Before she ever played a game, she had 4 concussions and had to medically retire, and then came out of retirement to play volleyball at A&M and had the game of her life against Nebraska.
Shout out that girl.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And
That's insane.
yeah, and shout out the Washington Huskies for beating NC State.
They beat NC State. I'm riding with them.
Don't shout them out. They're stupid.
Man, you should have gone. It was in Cary.
I'm never willingly gonna go watch
Yeah, let me just go to Cary
that I have no affiliation with. Like that.
Just go and hate watch.
Just go and hate watch.
Just go and hate watch. Like, boo, go refs. Just cheer for red cards the whole time.
No, my dad's a soccer guy, and I walked downstairs and he was watching the game, and it was like 27 degrees and felt like 16 or something like that. And I was like, that looks miserable.
2 years ago, I think UNC women's soccer was playing in the national tournament, and they flew out to BYU to play in a tournament game, and there was snow piled up on the side of the field from where they shoveled it off right before game time. And I'm telling you, these snow piles were as tall as the chicks that were playing on the field. There's just no way that was a safe environment. And then we went up 3-0 and gave up 4 straight goals to lose.
Sounds about right.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Happens.
Okay, well, it's probably. I think that's all we got today. Joe, thanks for coming on. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck to Oklahoma this weekend.
Let's hope John Mateer took Sooners money line.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took the over.
Shit.
No, he didn't.
Good.
Any final thoughts from anybody else?
By the way, did we talk about this? Are we all in agreement that the committee got the 10 teams right?
The 10 teams they got right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would say they got the 12 teams right just due to the format. I know we kind of
Well, because they had to, but did they get the 10?
Yeah.
Because Ben,
I mean,
you think Notre Dame?
I
Based off head to head.
yeah,
I think the bigger conversation that they didn't even talk about should have been Alabama Notre Dame, to be honest.
In defense of the two
Well,
teams,
you already heard my opinion on that. I thought Alabama should have dropped as well.
yeah.
In defense of the two teams that did get in, Tulane and JMU, play the games in their schedule and they just win those games. So at the end of the day, like,
Yeah, and Tulane has a Power 4 conference win over a conference champion too. So
yeah.
I mean, it was
What a
Duke.
conference championship Duke is. What a conference champion Duke is, but I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, Brandon enlightened me on the committee regulations and criteria and stuff like that. And by their criteria, they 100% got the 10 teams right. But in my opinion, their criteria puts a lot of emphasis on, in this year's case, matchups that happened in the first week of the season, and doesn't really leave a whole lot of wiggle room for a team that won by an average of more than 29 points a game for 10 straight games and against Power 5 competition at that.
Yeah, but I still think that like nobody seemed to mention how bad Alabama's loss to Florida State was. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Like that was
I
probably
agree.
like even if you talk about like everyone's talking about like, oh, like Texas, like you would like, even though you played Ohio State, like you would have been in if you had just beaten Florida. But Florida beat Florida State by like 20. And Bama lost to Florida State. Like Florida State lost to Clemson. They are bad.
Yeah.
Like we were at that game, me and Timmy, and we like Florida State is bad.
Yeah.
So how nobody talked about that and like made
I mean,
that
made
made
game
that.
should have been closer just because of like a couple bonehead decisions. But yeah,
But I mean, it's just the fact that they didn't talk about that at all, and then Bama was still ranked in front of both Notre Dame and Miami was crazy to me. I thought that it should have been more of a conversation. I thought Miami, with the win over Notre Dame, if you're deciding between those two, you have to go with Miami. Like they beat them head to head. The game has to matter. Yeah, I know it was week 1. I'm not even saying that I think Notre Dame wouldn't beat them now, but that game has to matter. They played this season, and so it has to matter. I think the conversation should have been between Alabama and Notre Dame.
I think flipping Bama and Miami would have at least made the games this weekend a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Given that you would be playing different opponents, like Miami would be playing Oklahoma. That's obviously out of conference. But I think that would be a pretty good matchup, given that Miami's offense is significantly better than Bama's offense, in my opinion, at this point in the season. And then Bama and A&M didn't play each other in conference play this year.
Yeah.
So, like, it's teams matching up against teams that haven't seen each other yet. To me, that's way better than an Alabama-Oklahoma rematch and, like, the fucking shit show games that we've got in Oregon and Ole Miss this week.
Yeah, as much as like Oregon deserved the 5 seed, and like deserves to play JMU because I do think JMU is the lesser team between those two. I would have loved to have seen that not be Tulane and Ole Miss playing each other again since they already played.
Yeah.
But I think they obviously got like Oregon deserves to play JMU because I think most people would agree that Tulane is a better team than JMU. So Oregon obviously deserves to play that game. But
it's gonna be so tough to watch those two games, knowing in the back of your head that neither of the two coaches for Tulane and JMU really have any stake in what's gonna happen in these football games, because both of them, as soon as this happens, as soon as these games in, they're going to Florida and UCLA.
yeah,
Like
you see, who is
Although
it?
shout out
Golden?
John Summerall for the 100K
For
NIL
Summerall?
in Tulane. Yeah,
I was
is
gonna
that what
say,
you're gonna say?
yeah,
The 100K he gave to Tulane for NIL. Yeah, shout out.
that's kind of cool.
that is nice. I like Bob Chesney is flying from Virginia to the West Coast. He might as well just pack all his bags and stay
He
out.
probably is, to be honest.
Like, just take a U-Haul a couple days before the rest of the team and call it a day.
That's probably a smart idea.
Yeah.
Get UCLA to pay for the team's flights, all the whole team's flights. UCLA can give them a PJ.
I wonder if that's going to be a, Signetti to Indiana situation, Chesney to UCLA, if that program's going to get a big old flip.
Just feel like it can't turn around unless UCLA just puts the money in like Indiana did.
Yeah.
I don't know if it can be turned around as fast. I mean, Signetti is
Well,
obviously
UCLA has the money to put the money in.
It's just a matter of if they do it.
Yeah, it's just whether or not they're going to want to do it.
Yeah. But I think that about covers everything for this week. We'll try to get on next week, obviously holidays and stuff, but hopefully we can get on maybe Tuesday or Wednesday before we get near not Wednesday, but maybe Tuesday.
Yeah.
Maybe
Monday.
Whenever. I can do whenever.
Yeah.
Either any of y'all Joe, you're obviously in St. Lucia or wherever you are. Right?
I travel Monday. I'm driving from back up after going to the Dolphins game.
Word.
The Dolphins game.
And the
all right, dude.
I love how Joe's connection waited till the very end to
stop working. But
no, I'll be in Florida for a couple of days. I'm going to the Panthers and the Dolphins game.
That's awesome.
Nobody's gonna hear a single thing of what you just said.
Stephen Hawking.
You want that cut out too? You want us to leave that?
No, I'm leaving that one in. That's staying. Ben, Timmy, you guys aren't traveling, are you?
We'll see. I don't know how busy I'll be.
Okay. Ben, you're not busy.
Might be a free man in 2 days. So
that's true.
Oh yeah, true. If anybody stays around to the end of this, tell Timmy to quit his job. Timmy, if your boss is listening, what do you say?
I got a new job, so.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll see y'all next week.